Yeah! Welcome everybody to the Plumes of Hazard. This is Mass Blast 09, and we have the Angstful Vapor. And he apparently can't get himself unmuted.
What's up, everybody? The Angstful Vapor here. This is Foobaca and Understudy 77.
What's up?
How you doing, everybody?
What's happening?
We have
my camera stuck?
Huh?
Yeah.
Damn it! Look at my face!
It's
perfect. You look, beautiful as usual.
Lovely.
I have several dinner guests over, so it's a bit awkward. We got back and forth upstairs.
All right. So let's jump right into it. We have a little bit of news to cover. The first one that we have to cover, and the individual is in chat. Thanks very much, Great Britain Daz, for calling us out for an ice challenge, you asshole.
You rat bastard.
I know two of us have already completed it. I will be doing mine. I have not yet heard if Foobaca is planning on his.
I'm what?
Are you going to do it? We got called out for an ice challenge. Are you going to do it?
For what?
For an ice challenge.
I already did it, motherfucker.
Did you? All right. Well, there we go. We'll all be doing the ice challenge. Bastard.
Nobody wants to see you do a wet T-shirt contest under stuff.
Hey, if I didn't get called out, I wouldn't be doing it.
Next level intro. I love it. Cozy Asian likes the intro. So Daz does too. Cool.
Nice. That's cool.
It was a little bit of work, but Sean did a great job.
It was a couple hours the other night. It was a good time though. What else we got? Are we waiting for Mass to jump back in?
He's coming, I think.
Ahmed, you got anything?
I think I was talking about key lime cookie last week from Rape Vapes. I got the VCT, which is the vanilla custard tobacco. It's like my second favorite. It's not quite key lime cookie, but it's good if you like. I'm not really a custard guy, but I am a tobacco guy, so they taste nice together.
Huh.
And that .14 build I did last week with this chuff top, I still haven't changed the cotton. Still rocking. Well, I mean, it's rayon, but yeah, I mean, I should probably change it at some point tonight, but it's been lasting me the whole week.
That's good. That's good. I do need to get a hold of some of that rayons sometime. I still haven't tried it out. Still rocking the cotton balls and and just lately the Japanese cotton.
I still really like the Japanese cotton.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give a shout out to our friend Duquesne for doing this little overlay right here for us. For me, anyway. I screenshotted it and took it. Well, he made them for everybody. I'm just the only one who took a screenshot and saved it.
I wish that I'd been in the hangout that night.
No, well, you know, you've been around and a lot and all that stuff, so... Alright, there we go. Mass has returned. Alright, so do we want to go to that other thing that we were talking about?
This is what happens. This is what happens when I don't, whatever. It broke. My face got stuck. But anyways, to go back to the ice water challenge that you started talking about, yeah, that sucked. I was about to have cold stroke instead of heat stroke.
The trick is to hold your breath.
Yeah. No, I did not hold my breath. I should have. And let me tell you, when somebody's pouring gallons and gallons of ice water on the top of your bald head, it will give you brain freeze like nobody's business.
Well, whose fault is that?
Obama's probably.
So we have some other news regarding the kind of regarding the ice challenge, right, Matt?
Yeah, indirectly. Here.
Oh, it's the little inks for vapor.
Oh,
See that? You like how it turned out?
dude, I can't believe you freaking engraved that. That is awesome.
I'll be mailing that out.
How fast do you think mail can get here to Texas?
That's pretty quick.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
can get
I'll put it in the envelope right now. So, anyways, another news.
Holy shit! You know, I complain sometimes about the Texas USPS, but sometimes it's fucking amazing. So I've been drooling over this thing for God knows how long. How long have you had this? By the way, I'm in Mast's house. Hi, Mast.
You see this?
I've been drooling over this thing since Mast made it, and apparently he freaking engraved my name on it and gave it to me. So, related to the ice challenge, here's how it relates to the ice challenge. Darren's been freaking drooling over this as well ever since he saw it, and now it's got my name on it, you son of a bitch.
That's what you get for calling me out, Darren.
Oh man, this thing is so much fun. It makes my rose look enormous. I mean, it's 50% taller than the rose, but it's still got 1,200 moz.
My ice challenge video, my coworker never posted it, but for those who don't know, I did call out Joe Lit. I did call him out, so if you're watching, punk bitch.
If you have that video, or if you have somebody who has that video,
I'll make sure. I think I'm working with him tomorrow, so.
Well, I guess he's gonna have to do it twice because I called him out too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do all of them together. Oh, Darren, we just caught up. Darren just said bastards.
Bum 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 bum.
Wow. Boy, Google Glass.
What else we got? What do you got, Brian?
So I have got a couple things. So I've got this thing, which is by far the most important thing that ever has happened to me. I want to give a shout out to Perry at Veritube. He hooked me up with one of these little Sigelli drippers. I think he sent one to everybody, which I'm actually pretty pleasantly surprised with. It's a pretty nice Addy. 3-piece, like Mass went over the other day, so I won't go over all the features and stuff. But it's really nice. It's a little bit of a pain to wick. The distance between the little Tobe style tab to restrict the airflow is awful damn tight. So we're gonna have to lop those things off tonight, huh? Yeah, and grind those. Then I can build a quote unquote proper center post build or whatever. That would be optimal. Let's see. What else we got here? So since I was here, I did ask Mr. Massey here to take my happy little A-mods, and he put a Veritube 510 on the top, which looks the dog's danglies, as they say overseas. The thing is so flush. Looks great. Looks fantastic. And by the way, Alonso, you really got that sled in there good, man. Massey had to work it that hard. Took him a minute. The other thing I was going to mention tonight is I got to meet Vaporator in person, which was freaking sweet. And he made me a couple bottles of juice, and which was awesome because he's an awesome guy. So the ones that I've tried so far, the Dark Star is complex and delicious and amazing. The Lushington, however, this guy, peachy, delicious, freshly peachy, and I haven't spent much time with it yet, but it's as I expected coming from somebody with the palate of a Vaporator. These things they're amazing. They're really very, very good. I can't wait because I just got this afternoon. I've only spent a little bit of time with each of them, but I can't wait to do some more with that. I was going to mention the Hurricane drip tip too. So this guy, which I did this is something else. I don't know if you saw or not, but on our new page, the own page, I started doing 30-second reviews, and I picked this up on a lark just because it's funny. It's 22 millimeter, really thick Pyrex. If you haven't seen the little video, it's a really funny kind of bongy looking drip tip, but I have noticed that it does mute flavors a little bit. The amount that's flowing up through and how it spreads because it's tight on the 510, of course, but it widens up so much at the top and there's so much distance, it kind of floods all around your mouth instead of like hitting your tongue like a normal drip tip would. So I found that it kind of mutes juice a little bit. It's still fun for a little party gag kind of silly thing, and it works all right. But if you really want to taste stuff, this is probably not the way to go.
That's fair. I actually just got a call from a man named Igor.
Igor.
Who would like to provide some weather updates.
Oh, is this Igor Vaparsky?
This is Igor Vaparsky. Say hello, Igor.
Hello, Igor.
God, it is good to be back today. Fucking hot out, don't you think? 100 degrees, potatoes popping like popcorn in the ground. Why he do that? You see, the thing is, you go into the field with a shovel and you scoop it up.
We do that. It's only Igor.
It's only Igor.
No, you see,
why are you so hard?
Why are you hard?
I have a question for you, though. See, I'm looking at video on YouTube of women peeling potato and this window pop up. Who the fuck are you people? Really? I'm just trying to get some things in here. Why am I on video chat? Who are you people? God, I'm out of here.
Thank you for the weather update, Mr. Vaporsky.
Thank you.
I'm guessing it was hot because you didn't have his shirt on.
He said it was hot. Potatoes are popping.
Potato popping.
So, first thing that I want to mention is we're going to try this new thing called Showcase. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm going to try it out right now. So here we go. I'm going to throw in one of our links.
Did Ahmed pass out?
I'm not sure. What? Okay.
I hope the guards didn't come get him in
So I'm
Guantanamo.
going to show this. Let's take a look. This is the Griffin, and I'm going to screen share it as well. This is the Griffin Raptor mod. Brown Dustin came on a little while back. He kind of gave us an overview of something that he was doing that was still in beta, right?
Oh, that thing is so gorgeous.
Yeah. So this is one of the first prototypes. There's the inside. For all you dirty people out there.
Oh, damn.
Open wide for daddy.
Eventually, we will be getting our hands on one of these to check out and try. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm super excited to try this thing.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably. I would use a fraction of 120 watts, probably half.
Agreed, but it's so good looking.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Arduino controlled. I mean, it's just this thing's awesome.
So it doesn't look like our little show thing's working. So I screen shared. We'll stick with that. That's good. Just to screw everything up. In other news, the SAT-22 is the newest ultra super high-end atomizer to be cloned. I thought that was kind of interesting.
It is, especially 'cause, at least at the moment, they're still really difficult to get a hold of, right?
They are, but they're about to not be very difficult to get a hold of. But I guess there's a clone coming out too. Raspberry Mint. I have refound Raspberry Mint and ordered a big bottle, and this is all that I got left, and I'm very, very sad about it.
I have a big bottle I haven't even opened yet.
Well, it happens. And I just found out about this one today from another reviewer that we have met through the Safer Vapors Hangout, Vaping Shaza. The billet box was cloned, and he did a whole video on it and everything. And I'm gonna share that in chat.
Wow.
It's a pretty legit clone, and I'll tell you, they do something really cool with it. They have a 510 insert that you can put in, and then a new top cap that you can put in, so that you can screw down any 510 Addy on top of it.
Wow.
So there's
which
the
honestly,
YouTube video.
I gotta be straight. I don't really understand it because Mass has got his here, which I got to see the first time I've had one in my hands. By the way, it is gorgeous. But like the whole point of this thing to me is the fact that this is it.
It's
Right.
just to give it a little bit more, right? It's to give it another option, which is kind of, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of nice to have one more option.
I
It
suppose.
basically makes it look just like this.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to pull this thing up. I mean, you know, I don't know. I think the thing that really strikes me about this is how is the all in one thing. You literally toss this in any pocket, and it's kind of ready to go. But it is nice to have the flexibility, I suppose. Kind of like
Yeah.
like the
It's kind of cool.
like the hybrid adapters for the hybrid mods and stuff, right? To throw a 510 on top.
Yeah. Cass, what do you got? That's all I got. I know our guest is on a little bit of a time crunch this evening, so.
All right. Let's see here what I got. So we had it came up past few days, and this has come up before about certain people in the vaping community posting about people's information online, whether it's on Reddit, whether it's on Facebook. There was a situation where one of the host of Mod Envy posted this guy's information, and the Facebook thread blew up. It was in the Mod Envy group, and basically put his information out there and said, I believe it was something to the point of, pretty much, here's his information, have at it, and that, basically you got everybody in the Facebook group sending actual poop to this guy, if even possible. She said, send all your shit. Apparently the guy was trying to steal something or something like that. I just
Try to claim a prize that wasn't his.
Yeah, try to claim a prize that wasn't his, and whether it was a mistake or not, or he was doing it maliciously, I think there's ways to deal with that. I don't think putting his address out on a Facebook forum that's got 20-something thousand people in it is a good idea. That's just me. I understand some people were mad, and yeah, that the post, the actual address was redacted and removed, but you could still go under the edits and see it. Nothing against the people that posted it or anything like that, but I just feel personally that doing that stuff is not cool. The vigilante justice, I mean, we've learned that through Reddit about going after the wrong people or a mistake or something like that, and I know Facebook is different. I don't know if Facebook has any rules about having addresses and stuff like that on there, but in that context, I think that's pretty shitty. That's that. So let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, so we have a most of you guys are familiar with the Plume Veil, and I know I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a clone of it that came out a couple days ago, and it's a pretty interesting clone. I mean, it is close to, I mean, we'll call it a replica, and it's around $20. There is, I'll push the link in chat now. It's actually an eBay link. If Sean can drop that in chat, I don't have chat open right this second.
Sure.
So that's pretty interesting. I mean, you can see the internals and everything. Everybody raves about the internals of the Plume Veil, and so there you go. Check it out. So. Yeah, and the next thing we got is on Facebook. I know Facebook. We have Vaporator actually got his site up and running in Facebook. He's slowly getting into getting his juice out there on the website, and I'll go ahead and post the link to that so you can check it out. They have some of the flavors on there in the descriptions, and it's pretty much facebook.com/stash e-liquids, and that's STASH e-liquids. And you could check out some of the flavors. He's going to be selling through a local B&M here. Actually, the B&M that we talked about, Envy Vapes, that we had one of the guests on a while back. And check it out. So And yeah, I don't have my show notes in front of me, so I keep looking at Brian, and Brian's reading them to me. That's what I'm doing.
Show
No,
no bitch, man.
I
Show
think
no
that's it,
bitch.
right? So should we pop in our guests? I know he's a bit.
Definitely. Hey, man, he helped me out all afternoon with some light modding work, so I gotta at least read off this news shit.
All right.
So our guest this evening is Oren from the Vape Kitchen. Oren, hi, welcome.
Welcome.
Mute yourself.
How do I do this?
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Woo! I'm unmuted.
So Oren, tell us a little bit about your company.
Well, Vape Kitchen, how would I describe us? We're 100% VG. We do the majority of our extracts in-house. We solubilize our own essential oils in non-PG humectants. We do multiple methods of extraction, but that's not even the big thing. We just try to make the stuff taste as great as we can. We don't buy any pre-compounded flavoring. We don't buy cola. We make it from 11 different flavors. We don't buy Red Bull. We make Red Bull flavor, Red Bull-like flavor.
Yeah, make sure you put the like in there.
Oh, no. You're going to laugh. I just got, to the previous owner of this vape shop that I just got, a certified letter from Jolly Rancher because we were carrying a brand of vape here prior to my acquisition of the store that was called Belly Dancer in the same font.
Wow.
So, yeah, pretty awesome. I mean, I know it's easy to confuse Hershey for being in the vape business, but...
Yeah,
you know.
make sure you don't call any of your flavors Zorro.
Yeah.
Learn that lesson. I called one of my mods that, and then, apparently Zorro came riding in his horse and told me to
Don't call it Django
decease
Style.
this. Yeah, that either. So.
Yep, we have eschewed the era of personal responsibility, and now everybody sues each other. But whatever, we digress.
So now I'm gonna throw.
The American way, man.
Let's throw out the giveaway details for this evening first, and then I'm sure Brian has something that he wants to comment on.
Nice.
Giveaway details: we're gonna give away one random 120 of any Vape Kitchen flavor, and the one that y'all gotta work for is we are doing 3 custom flavors. You come up with the flavors. We're gonna vote on which flavors we like the most, and then Oren here is gonna make them and then send them to you. So whatever you have going on in your head, whatever you think sounds phenomenal, make it happen, and we'll see if we can make it happen for you.
And furthermore, if we use it, you'll receive a shit ton of that flavor, as well as having the flavor named after you.
Bam.
So do they get to pick the 150?
You mean the 120? Yeah.
The 120? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
The
No, we're gonna
120
make
is a
everybody
current
make
offering. The
plastic.
3 customs are non-current offerings.
What?
The 120 is a current juice offering that you have, and then the 3 customs are custom-made flavors. You can send us a message in chat. You can comment on Facebook, on Reddit, wherever, and we'll pick somebody.
That is perfect.
So, Brian, do you want to?
Do I want to what?
Your little rant.
I'm not going to rant.
No, but
I'll
we have
rant
to
on
bring it up.
Reddit, but I'm not going to rant at a guest.
We have to bring it up, though.
Okay. So tell me, Oren, with your juices, do you add anything to them to make them more friendly to tanks?
No. I do not. Our juice is thick,
What's that?
and a lot of it... the only flavors I've had problems with tanks would be the usual suspects, like the cinnamon flavors, the citric acid lemon flavor. What's up with the flute? Or the recorder.
Yeah, recorder. That's right. No, okay. So the question is something that's one of my little beefs is people claiming 100% VG when they add other things to it to thin it out. That drives me crazy.
No
Now, see,
way,
I
no
always
how.
thought when we talked about this, the flavoring was considered. Now, we were going with the term PG-free, not 100% VG.
Yeah, I like that. And like I mean, it's all semantics, really. I mean, when people try to throw that at me and say, well, is it truly 100% VG? It's like my response is, well, dude, if it was 100% VG and not 100% VG base, we'd have one flavor. It would be called VG.
Right.
Like, we all know
that.
that.
And I'm
Yeah.
down with it. I'm not going to use the semantic or the slightly pedantic argument of, like,
Yeah.
if there's nick in there or if there's flavor molecules in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, agreed.
My only thing with it is that I don't like getting pedantic and be self-righteous and be like, well, I know it's not actually 100% VG. I'm not like that. It's more like just kind of preemptively kind of getting the labeling down in the event that, there are standards set by the FDA.
Right.
Say, okay, you have to list everything. It's like, I feel like I guess it saves everybody trouble if everyone gets on the boat ahead of time.
And
so ignoring the nic molecules and the actual flavoring molecules, which you're extracting with VG, and that's cool. So if you ignore those things, if you've got everything else in there as VG, I'm okay with it. I mean, it's close enough, right? But if you're 92% VG and 8% water or alcohol to thin it out, that's not 100% PG or VG base. That's not. It's just.
I agree.
But from the exact aspect that Food brought up, we genuinely have kind of all agreed on the PG-free tagline, just for education, just for potential FDA regulation and all that.
I like that.
Mm.
Yeah, you might be the first guys to do it if you like it.
Yeah, exactly. No, so that's all. That was the flutes thing that I was going to ask you about, because so far this hasn't seemed terribly watery at all. So that's what I was wondering, because when if I bought something, if I'm a dripper, which I do often drip, and I bought something that was labeled 100% VG and I got it and it was cut with 8% water, I'd be pissed.
Well, yeah, you don't want your shit to crackle.
Exactly. I don't want that kind of crackle-ackle factor. I want
All I gotta say is, whatever you do to make Irish car bomb, holy shit, man! All right, so let me tell you. I asked Chuff because he got some of your flavors a while back, and he's like, well, I like this one, and I love Guinness. I love dark beers. The darker, thicker, the better. And he's like, oh man, you need to try Irish car bomb. He's like, the flavor is, and I talked about it on the other show, the flavor is great and awesome while you're vaping it, but it's amazing on the exhale or if somebody else is vaping it around you. I mean, it is that kind of and I encompass, and I've talked to Vaporator about this, not only the inhale, the flavor that you get, but the exhale and the flavor that it leaves you with, because there's great juices and you get that exhale and that leftover, you're like, what is that? The juice is great, but what's there? And I got to tell you, man, Irish Car Bomb, I think this is one of your top flavors. I mean, it might just be, I've had some other people try it. Yeah, I'm about to order a lot of it because it is that good. It is that good. I mean, I smelt it and I was like, man, that's very interesting. And at the time, I didn't know that you had extracted, from Guinness. I hadn't looked at the site or anything like that. Chuff told me about it. I said, I trust you. I'll order. I'll get this in the sample as a bigger bottle, and I'm really glad I did because it's almost out. On that exhale, I taste, after you've had, a couple sips of Guinness and you put it down, I mean, that's amazing, and I'm sure that has to do with, I don't know, a thing about extracting and doing juices like that, but I'm sure it's got to do a lot with that, and kudos, man, because this juice, that's right on. So,
I mean, really, all these methods, it's just, that's not what makes great juice. I mean, I will never clown on anyone else's stuff for flavor, for anything like that. The best juice is the juice you like. That's the beginning and the end of the story. It doesn't matter who you are. My stuff on that level is no better or worse than anyone's stuff. I mean, 100% VG, that's cool, whatever. Extracting, that's not what makes great juice. That's just a means to an end once you have your vision. What makes great juice, in my opinion, is giving a damn about what you do and tasting. It's having a palate and giving a shit, and that costs like that much money. That's.
But doesn't the extracting at least get you a little bit closer, right? Because you're not
using the artificial flavors and stuff.
Right, stuck just from flavors that everybody gets. Like you've extracted this. This is a flavor that you went after and you got. So.
Yeah, that's not to say I won't use, an off-the-shelf organic essential oil and solubilize it myself if it works. I mean, I'm not going to create extra work for myself just to sound cool and, be an elitist asshole or whatever. It's like, if there's something that is amazing, and I can use it as an ingredient when I create my flavors, I'm going to use it. But if it doesn't meet that and it doesn't fit what I need it to fit, then yeah, I'm not gonna. Good enough isn't good enough. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna make it.
So on that exact note,
Hold on, before you go there, Andre. Let's finish this one flavor because I want to mention this. So the first experience I had with this particular one, and I didn't get this one, but I was around Mass when he started vaping it. To me, it smells on the second-hand vapor, if you will. It smells like Nestle's Quick in a very good way. It's very chocolatey, sort of chocolate milky kind of flavor, but vaping it really is different. It is an excellent juice. So far, it's the best.
With Guinness, with a real Irish Car Bomb, when you drop that in and you taste it, there's this secondary flavor characteristic that the Baileys and the Guinness make that's like this creamy, caramelly...
It's a milkshake,
It's delicious. It's what it is.
Yeah, it's like ordering nachos when you don't know what the hell to eat. It's like when I'm in a bar, I want food, beer, and I'm indecisive. Irish Car Bomb. It's like, fucking the nachos of the bar.
Yeah. Hey, watch your language because this is YouTube. We can't swear.
Oh, sorry. I mean,
That's
cheese and rice. The flipping Irish Car Bomb.
Tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, and I also got to say these samples that you sent over are adorable.
What is? I thought it was a suppository.
Yeah, I made them.
I'm like, what is this? What are we supposed to do with these things?
You gotta go dig them out of your butt to go try them.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was gonna give them to my nephew. Put them
It's like those things Newman had loaded in a shaving cream can in Jurassic Park. You know what I'm talking about?
The person that said that.
And with these, I was like, oh, it's perfume. Put a little bit on your
I'm
thing.
not the first person to say that. I'm not the first person to say that.
No.
That's awesome.
So this one's T-Rex, and this one's the Dilophosaurus. Yeah. Okay, sorry, Sean. I just want to talk about the Nestle's Quick because I thought that was awesome.
Well, and kind of along the same line, what I'm really curious about, tell me about your process. Like, what's the process that you have when you go into making a new juice or making a juice?
Well, it's funny. I mean, now, admittedly, the process is very, very simple. Like, I'm so connected. Like, my nose, it's almost tied in too much, I think, to, like, picking things apart and reconstructing them that it almost makes tasting outside of juice making a little bit lackluster. Like, when I drink, like, a soda that I used to enjoy, I'll be like, oh, man, they use way too much high fructose corn syrup in this, not enough flavoring, blah, blah. It's like my brain just won't stop. But with juice, now it's like I know my ingredients so well that if I come up with a flavor or I smell something, I can pick it apart and write it down before I even go into the lab and make it. So it's like 9 out of 10 times, it'll just kind of be up here, or it'll be something I smell or taste, and then I'll write it down. And 90% of the time, it's pretty much exactly as I've written it. So it's really, the process has become kind of inexplicably part of me. It's not very difficult anymore, but my problem is there are too many flavors all the time that I'm making. Like, I'm making like 10 flavors a week now. It's like, and I'm only releasing a few.
So what about the extraction process? Because I know that's something that not a lot of people are doing.
Well, again, without getting into too much detail where I'm telling everyone how to do what I'm doing, I mean, really, there are lots of different extraction methods. You've got steam distillation, like they do for most essential oils. You've got hot extraction methods, vacuum extraction methods, cold extraction methods that take time. Really, it just depends if your ingredient that you're working with is, if you're going after an oil, if you're going after the volatile aromatic compounds as a whole, like something like Guinness, where you're not going after an essential oil. And also the other question to ask is, does heat alter the flavor, i.e., does a cooked apple taste different than a raw, fresh apple, and vice versa? So through that process of elimination, you would determine which method of extraction best suits your objective, i.e., it starts with a vision. It's like you don't just go in and fuck around until you get something cool. It's like, all right, this is what I want. How do I get there? And sometimes the answer is not what you thought it would be.
So Militancy from the chat said, how many Irish Car Bombs did you drop as research?
Oh, I'm a student of life consistently. Unless you're pulling me over on the way to the ice rink, then I don't know what you're talking about. But I digress. Yeah, no, I continue to research Irish Car Bombs every week.
Nice.
At work as well.
So kind of another curious point is, you mentioned kind of turning an oil soluble and safe to vape. Can you get into that process a little bit?
Don't. You don't have to say shit. So just you can
No, I
say.
know that. I'm just trying to find a way where I can comfortably say shit without totally being retarded and giving away all my shit. So I think in the name of diplomacy, I'll say there are natural and artificial ways to do so. Obviously, I don't choose the artificial ways. Like a lot of people will use. Well, for example, let's go to CBDs for a minute, like THC, CBD extraction, because it's a parallel thing. You're taking an oil, like cannabis oil. I can talk about this because it has nothing to do with what I actually do, but it's a parallel.
As a theory, right? Not in practice.
Yeah, well, in California it can be in practice, but whatever.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but CBD actually is taken from industrial hemp, not from weed that has THC most of the time. And when they take that oil, they need to solubilize it into water, and obviously oil is not miscible in water. So what these guys are doing is they're using pegs, which I would never ever do for anything in vape. I mean, pegs are used in cosmetic industries as an emollient. They're used as a solubilizing agent. They're used, many ways that way to take anything immiscible in water and make an emulsion, be it a microemulsion or a thick, nasty, creamy-looking emulsion. But people are doing that with CBDs now, and they're giving this to people to vape. And to me, that's insane. Like, you don't want to inhale pegs, like a PEG 400 or a PEG, these are things that are mildly carcinogenic. We have inconclusive evidence if they're good for you or not. It's like, it's just screwed up. But there are other ways to take an oil and make it miscible in water that don't involve any weird substance made by one of the big chemical companies out there. I can't really get into too much more detail, but let's just say I'm not using any of these artificial methods. A lot of flavor houses do it the same way that I do it. It's, same process.
Out of all the flavors that you've, and I know you have a ton of flavors, but what's your percentage of extracting versus just using off-the-shelf flavors?
Like, when we say off-the-shelf flavors, do you mean like off-the-shelf essential oils or?
Like TPA and Flavor Apprentice and all those, flavors that, any other juice maker could get without doing anything.
Like, I really don't use much, if any, of that stuff. Like, I'm not going to buy, like, a key lime pie flavor or a cola flavor or a peach cobbler flavor or cookies and cream or a sugar cookie, or I'm not going to do that. I just won't. Not because I can do it better or this or that, but because I don't want my stuff to taste like everyone's stuff.
Right.
No, be it good, bad, or indifferent. I don't think, if everyone's got an apple and I don't make an orange, I'm a dumbass.
Yeah.
I mean, my stuff has to have a characteristic that's its own, for better or for worse. You've got to stand for something, whatever it is. But I think oh wait, where was I going with that? Sorry. We've got customers and work going on in the background, but yeah,
it's just really, really interesting. With the different flavors and stuff like that. How many flavors do you have, like, right now?
Oh boy, I think we officially on the Vape Kitchen site have about 93.
That's insane.
But I've got like 200. I have another line that I private label for people. That's a 70-30 and an 80-20 line.
Yeah.
And I've got another 100 flavors over there that I've made. And I still do the cosmetic and personal care stuff out of my bottling facility. But the vape thing, this is pretty rad. It's a culmination of both careers, and it's a very unlikely place I thought I'd end up, but it's pretty awesome. I love this.
That's not something I've heard about. What's the personal care thing you do?
Oh, that's kind of how let me know if you guys can't hear. That's kind of how I got into this. Believe it or not, years ago, my main business was shooting. I was a camera. I shot. I did lighting, production, photo sets. I did lingerie, apparel, and I did a lot of stuff for Playboy. I shot, a lot of pretty adult on film for years. Still filthy, but pretty. Yeah,
Nobody's arguing that.
Yeah, I don't want to try to legitimize it and make it sound like it was because I like it better that way, but I digress. Anyway, so after people stopped paying for intellectual property, I couldn't really slang my broadcast the way I was. I still had all these distribution connections. So, believe it or not, I found a fledgling personal lubricant company that I purchased that had several SKUs. One of them, you might know, it's the oldest warming lube on the market, Emotion Lotion, strangely enough.
Nice, dude.
Guess what the main ingredient for Emotion Lotion is? It's
VG.
100%. Yep, VG, USP grade VG.
Yep.
And flavor. And water. So, unbeknownst to myself, I put one and one together and realized that I could take this and I could vape it. And I at the time I took like the cotton out of a crappy little disposable e-cigarette and soaked it in this stuff and stuffed it in there and took a puff and I'm like, oh my god, this works. And realized, prior to all this and in another life ago, I guess, I was a chef. I did hotline pastry. I was a saucier. I worked for a lot of 2 Michelin star French crazy bastards before Food Network came along, before it was a friendly, nice thing to do, back when they were drunk, belligerent assholes that would break plates and shove shit into your chest and scream, "You call this hot? My dick is hotter than this!" Like crazy. Like not Ratatouille, like fucking Sybil. Like, yeah. So so at that moment I realized, wait, I could have fun with this. And I've always been a booze hound and a wine nerd, and I could always pick apart vintages and varietals with my nose, and always kind of wondered, like, God, one day I wish I could be a nose for a perfume company, and how do you get into that? How do you apprentice? And lo and behold, just through osmosis, I'm doing it. It's kind of cool. I mean, it just kind of happened. I mean, I had a trade show I was going to for the lube, and I bottled 5 flavors of e-liquid, slapped the label on that morning.
Somebody in chat just said, "No, that's where you got the little flavor sample from."
I fucking knew it. This guy.
Well done. Well done.
In perfume bottles.
We had somebody say this is the oddest Plumes yet, and then somebody else commented with, "This is the best one ever."
Or it was like just for a split second, he came up on the video feed. It was perfect. He was like,
yeah, that's the look that predicates the "I got to get off this fucking ride" look, though. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I lied and said I had 30 flavors and came to the show with 5 that I slapped a label on that morning, and everyone at the show was shitting themselves, saying it was the best juice they had. I wrote tons of business, and that was how it kind of took over my company, and that's kind of how
Has anybody asked for the Motion Lotion Potion flavor yet?
I mean,
if not, I'll be the first one to ask for it. I want to taste it.
Oh yeah, you'll trip out. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, can I taste your juice? That's actually fitting. That's actually very fitting.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Well, let me tell you, it's a hell of a lot harder formulating cosmetics and personal care than it is formulating e-liquid. So, I mean,
Is that right?
and the fluke of all that is, to have ingredients of such purity and supply where they're high enough quality to put in someone, they actually make better e-liquid. I mean, my VG is really sweet. I don't use any sweeteners. It's weird. It's tricky. Like, the last hit you get on the cotton before it gets dry is actually the best hit with this VG. And then you'll pass your mod over to somebody and they'll get the dry hit, and you won't know it. It's kind of funny.
It's a good thing there's no ethyl malt on here, otherwise we'd have to throw all these things in the trash.
Yeah. So talking about these flavors and stuff like that, I will say there were some of the flavors that I got that I was like, what the hell am I smelling in here? I tried. Okay, so tell me about Juicy Pear. Okay, because Juicy Pear, man, it is really, really strong. I just, it's not really for me. I'm not really too into the pear flavors, but it's that flavor that just, punches you right in the face when you just smell it. So
No,
Is that a different, you know, because you, and I know it's a different, I'm sure a different profile, flavor profile, but I got to try the let's see, the Thai mango sticky rice, and that was good. The pineapple whip. That's another one that I spent some time with, even though I got the little, you know, DNA sample. But I carefully dripped it, and so very interesting flavor. It reminds me of the getting closer to the outside of the pineapple. Okay, so not the sweet middle part, but closer to the, you know, I guess you want to call the skin of the pineapple.
Yeah. I like my fruit, any fruit that I extract, even the coconut. I don't want it to taste like suntan lotion. I don't want there, you know what I mean? I don't want there to be ambiguity around the fruit. I want that ripe skin profile in it. Like the pear is a lot of people's favorite flavor, strangely enough. It's Bartlett and Asian pears, and it's supposed to be a punch in the face, no ambiguity, like, you know, if like biting into a pear on steroids.
Right, and I agree. I mean, I'm like, again, I'm not a pear kind of, but I do love pineapple, and it was interesting because I was telling the guys when I was tasting it that it's like I've had a lot of pineapple flavors. It's like getting closer to the outside of the pineapple. And it's very crisp, you know, very 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 clean vape. So and I will say the toasted hazelnut, I haven't tried it yet, but it smells amazing. You know, it's
pear.
Yeah, I tried the toasted hazelnut last night, and I had the Thai mango sticky rice last night too. And that is an interesting flavor.
Way to make me feel like a dick. I've only tried the Earl Grey bourbon tobacco. I was like the one to try the most. I haven't tried anything else.
There's a taste in the sticky rice that it leaves with you, but it's not an unpleasant taste. It comes in afterward. Like, you get that mango at first, and then it finishes like 15 seconds after you've vaped it with that really smooth, like, sticky ricey flavor.
Yeah.
And it's just
the coconut finish with a little of the starch. Yeah, a lot of it's a sleight of hand also. I mean, you learn that when you're profiling flavors in your brain, if you can train yourself not to think in the terms of sweet or salty, or, you know, if you already assume that it's going to be sweet, then your brain starts looking for the other flavors, and you realize you're not tasting sweet. Like, you're tasting a little this, a little that. So when it's like eating something and going, all right, well, I know they can't vape rice, but how do I get that quality to come back and at least resonate with the brain that there's something starchy going on there? It's interesting. It's fun. It's like sleight of hand. It's
with doing the extractions and stuff, because I know you're on a time clock here, and this is a question that I really wanted to get out. Do you find, and how do you keep consistency when you're naturally extracting some of this stuff? Do you find that there's some consistency issues from bottle to bottle, or?
Well, really, I mean, yeah, there'll be consistency issues from batch to batch, but ultimately, I mean, it comes down to this. I QC every batch that we make. I mean, I'll make the initial formulation, my guys will batch it out, but for anything that's really extraction intensive, like Irish Car Bomb, the ratios may change. It's kind of like making puff pastry dough. It's like, depending on the humidity, you're going to add a little more or a little less water, same kind of thing. It's like, ultimately, you use this to be the barometer and make sure that you've got as much consistency as you can from batch to batch. It's, it's nature. It's flawed, thankfully, like us. And, but it's so far so good. I know, except for my portrait of virtue over there.
Did any of my co-hosts, did any of them get the Earl Grey bourbon tobacco?
I didn't.
Really?
I did not.
Okay, well, that was
Basil Hayden's whiskey.
Yeah, that was one that stuck out to me. That when I was looking through the catalog, I'm like, I want to try this, lemon cheesecake. Those are like my two primaries. Chef recommended me the Earl Grey bourbon tobacco. My initial thing was I want to let it steep a little more, let the flavor round out more. But what I like most about it, at least what I've tried of it, is I could taste the Earl Grey tea leaves after I exhale. That's like the last. That's what I like about tea flavors in general, especially the tea and tobacco. There's not enough of it, at least I think on the that's out there that manufacturers make, and so it's like I want there to be at least a little more tobacco, but I still really like. It's not something I could all day, but it's definitely something I'll have on here. Like right now, I have the vanilla custard tobacco on here, on my Odin. Is there like a rum flavor in there or whiskey? You said?
Yeah, it's the bourbon. It's I'd use Basil Hayden's whiskey, and I extract the essence of that.
Because that was the first thing I smelled. I opened the bottle. It's like.
Yeah.
I have noticed on that train though that a little bit of steeping is necessary for some of these juices.
Tobaccos especially.
Steeping goes a lot. Like from when if I get something in from you guys, I let it sit for at least a week before I try. I've noticed that steeping really brings out a lot more of the subtle undertones.
How popular is your blackberry cucumber mint? I'm just wondering because.
Very.
Is it popular? Is it? Yeah. I mean, I think you really have to. I mean, it smells very interesting. I don't do cucumber, but it is. If you like cucumber, mint, and blackberry, boy, that's whoever you know.
I haven't been able to bring myself to try that one yet.
Yeah, it's definitely it's another one of those that it's like it's very right in your face, you know. So,
yeah, I don't want there to be any ambiguity with my stuff. I mean. Even with the names, I can't bring myself to like give it like a pretentious and completely absurd name. Like, I don't know. Like it just seems like I don't know. I don't want to be that big of a narcissistic douchebag and like.
You call it what they are.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. I can't do it. I don't know. It's just not in me.
So, what do you test your flavors on? What do you vape personally?
Very good question, actually. Again, it's like I'm the Jamaican in Living Color and Heyman. Like I used to do audio engineering too. And back when I engineered, you know, it's like there's a reason you don't mix on the big speakers. You don't mix on your house monitors. You mix on near field. Shitty little Yamaha NS10s right here, because you're mixing for people with the clock radio. You're mixing with people that listen to the music on the little shitty radio at work. And it's the same thing. When I QC my juice, when I'm making it, I QC it on a CE4 with the weakest 650 I can find. And I do that to make sure that even your guy with a wicked plastic tank is going to have an enjoyable experience, get the flavor, and then I'll drip it, make sure it doesn't collapse on a sub-ohm, but really 99% of what I do is done on the worst possible tank you can buy, because I want to make sure my stuff works for everybody. So yeah, good question.
And is there anything else that you want to tell these guys? Tell the couple people that we have watching?
Well, if you haven't given us a try, I implore you to do so. I'm not kidding you when I tell you we will make anything you can think of. If you have a flavor you want, yeah, I know.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to find out what people come up with.
Yeah, excluding like savory and like, I'm not going to make like, I don't know, chicken and diesel or
anal
like
lube.
We can make that. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Well, we can, but I wouldn't make it. Dirty anal lube. Now that's something disgusting.
Oh.
Hey, you took it there. I had to take it where it belonged. I'm sorry.
Oh, that is great.
I know we only speak the Queen's English on Plumes of Hazard, but you know.
That is definitely not true.
No, not even a little bit.
I know. Otherwise, you wouldn't have tolerated me for 20 minutes. But no, I mean, yeah, really, the only reason that we're doing what we're doing is because I don't know how to do anything other than wake up every day and fiercely give a fuck about what I do. I don't want to do something I can't care about. So what I love about vaping and what I love about this company and what I love about the industry as a whole, whether people are conscious or unconscious about it, is that this isn't the man. This isn't big business. This is mom and pop helping mom and pop that are growing, that are doing things in the face of big business, in the face of the people that have been poisoning them. I mean, it's a very unconscious but awesomely deliberate movement. It's like to me, this is a glimmer of hope. This shows me that my kids may not live in a complete world of shit, that my kids may actually live in a world where people that have faced this ladder that's been rigged and fucked and made unclimbable by the powers that be are finding a new ladder to build and are climbing it themselves. And because of that, I love this business. I love
Not to ruin your day, but it looks like Fast Tech got to you.
Oh, you gotta share that picture.
He is sharing it now.
Yep, it's being shared right now. I love the others also.
The others also bought freaking dildo and
Hey, what?
handcuffs.
What the hell is that?
Wow.
What is that?
Those are our resourceful fast techers.
Yep.
Wait, so what are they doing with my picture?
Nothing.
on Fast Tech.
That's a guy in chat who always has a little bit of fun at the guest
That's
spot.
funny.
Hey, so before you go, we also want to ask, because we were getting this asked in the chat a little bit, do you have any UK shipping options?
Yeah, I'll ship anywhere where they won't arrest me.
Nice.
Sure. I'm sure that'll make quite a few of these guys pretty happy.
Absolutely. I
We actually
mean,
have a pretty large UK viewer base as well, so it's nice to have somebody on who ships over there too.
yeah,
Mhm.
we will. We'll make it work. If somebody wants our juice anywhere, I will find a way to get it to you. It may not be cheap, but we'll work it out. You may have to advise me, but we'll do it.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to come
Absolutely.
talk
It's
to
been
us.
real, yo.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for having me. This has been awesome.
Of course. Enjoy your hockey game.
Woo! Thank you.
DNA samples, flutes.
Many, many, many.
Have a good one, man.
You too. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right. So, do we want to start cutting over to TechTime while we talk about some other stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm gonna need about 4 or 5 minutes, Sean, before.
Sure. So do you guys just want to jump right into the home page, which I'm sure everybody's kind of seeing right now?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we should. So as we talked about last week, very poorly, we have moved ourselves over to the home page. So now if you pull up our plumesofhazard.com site, it actually forwards you over to the homepage.com/live, where we will eventually be having other shows, including as well, in addition to ours. But something I was going to mention that I sort of came up with on the fly the other day is the 30-second reviews, which I think were kind of fun, that we started posting over there. That's I don't know. I mean I've had a good time shooting them, and then these guys have started shooting them too. So I think that's I don't know. I think it's kind of a fun little quick thing to do a review, because I mean, come on, anybody's juice.
Quick. They're not even a little bit quick though.
Well, they're not a little bit quick to shoot. Like anything else, right? It always takes longer to create than it does to consume. But like at almost any juice flavor you get, you don't need a 30-minute review segment on juices, even if you're reviewing multiple. I mean, you can really knock a juice out and get the down and dirty, or like Project 2501 says, the police sketch artist sort of description, right, of a juice, or like my first one was a drip tip, right? I mean, like, really, you're going to make a full review of a drip tip? No, you're going to make one that's kind of hopefully makes you laugh, but also kind of tells you what it is and where you can find one, right? So I think we're going to start kind of doing that for you guys on there. We've also got some more people starting to submit more content. Goss has been writing some great articles. We've had Vape Bitch has written a couple, I think, now, and
So is Vaporator. He said some really good
Vaporator.
stuff.
That's right. Vaporator wrote a really nice steeping guide the other day.
Chuff will be pairing with us, and he'll be doing some how to build a mech stuff and some very intensive tests on mods. And
Hopefully firing some batteries across the room again.
Yeah, but I want to get this out there because I know I've talked to you guys about it. So just so everybody who's watching understands, the average number of takes that it takes for a 30-second review is about 25 takes.
That's true.
It's true. It takes a few in order to get it tight enough, right? You gotta, if you just stumble over a word here or there or something, that just eats into your.
I think I'm winning with mine, right? Because mine was like dead nuts 30. Without
It
editing.
was dead nuts 30. I think
Yeah.
mine and Brian's have been over.
Dude, it's hard because you have so much to say, and you look down and you're like, oh, I'm at a minute 20. Some bitch.
Yeah.
Do it again. You start saying, oh, I'm at a minute. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I cut out like half the thing. Now I'm only at a minute. So, I actually had to, think about what I was going to say it, and take about 30 takes, and then finally, one of the two actually worked.
Right.
On one of them, when I was doing the Sigelli, it was like I didn't even say one of the important parts about the copper pin, or I would keep leaving stuff out. So there you go.
I mean, that's
And
just
the
kind of how it
problem is
goes.
trying to put too much. If you put too much in there, then it's just like a string of facts, right? I mean, that's useful too, I suppose. But yeah, but then you're gonna forget stuff, or you can like do it like I was starting to do it, where it's I hit the high points, right? You're not gonna get everything in a 30-second review, but you can get all the
I
important
think I'm going to focus my 30-second reviews on the things that suck about the device.
That would be the easiest thing in the world for you.
No, dude, that will make it significantly more.
Because then you can review anything that's not a box mod or a K-Fun.
But what I'm saying is that'll make it more difficult for me. I usually have a longer list of bad than good with something.
Well, of course you do. That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
But that's going to make it harder, not easier. And I'm not going to be able to
30
fit all that in 30 seconds.
I see what you mean.
Like 32 seconds.
Yeah, no, I haven't killed myself. I think one of mine was 32, one was 34 or something. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
But we will be continuing to do those because they're both fun and challenging. Emphasis on the challenging to make all that shit fit.
I was sitting there with mine. The first one I did before I told anybody about it, I was sitting there with my phone up, and I'd hit the button, and I'd go into it, and I'd stumble over words like, shit, stop it, start it again. And I'd get all the way through it and realize that I was covering the mic or something with my hand and stop it, start it again. Like, damn it. It definitely took a dozen takes. That first one was, 15, 20.
But we will be,
30-second crucifixions.
I kind of had this running gag going at for Vape Mania. I think we should do 30-second interviews with vendors. Just hold up the microphone and be like, "You have 30 seconds to tell us about your business. Make it important," or like give them like a set of flashcards with questions, and at 30 seconds it gets cut off, and that's it.
Oh, sorry, you didn't tell us where we could reach you or where you're located.
Too bad. We're out.
You're too full of yourself.
Darren said 30-second-ish reviews should be the new name.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, Darren. Close enough. Close enough. Hey,
we
man, if
will
we
be
can
a lot
fit it
of
into
other
30-something
articles coming up.
seconds, then whatever.
I'm sure we'll be bringing in other people. One of the most important kind of parts about this is that this is very community based. Like we're going to be doing. There's an article up right now where Rich over at Vapors Knoll shared a flavor, and he shared the DIY instructions for that flavor. And we're going to be taking submissions and doing vendor submissions and doing user submissions. So if you've written something, if you have a cool video, if there's something that you want to share, send it along to one of us. We'll take a look at it, and if we like it, we'll throw it on the page for everybody.
Yeah.
So I mean,
giving credit and all that stuff, of course.
Yeah, that's kind of a big part of it, right? Like making sure that people are involved.
I'm actually I have some free time this week, so I get to make my first posts.
Are you going to tell everybody the name?
The chip game dissertation. I think I mentioned that last week or the week before. I wanted to do it last week, or rather this past week. I didn't get a chance, so now I have the time to do so. Do a proper banner, all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, I just thought of a piece of news that we didn't talk about.
What's that? Oh, good point. I didn't know that we were far enough along with that.
Well, we're not quite there yet, but I will tell everybody that we did find a guy who's going to do our shirts. We're going to have the own page. We're going to have the Plumes of Hazard shirt, and we're going to do our Voop Life shirt that's going to look like this. They are super, super cool. The process that he does is not like regular silking. It's more like a very specific, tight bleaching, so to speak, into the shirt. So it's not going to be cracking. It won't mess up, and they're going to be pretty inexpensive too on decent shirts. So we'll have those up as soon as we can. We'll definitely let you know where to get them because we know we've had a bunch of people asking us specifically about the Voop Life.
They will be available at the own page.
Yeah. And again, just like everything else, just in case we didn't say this before, which I don't remember, but we're not going to be taking any money from this. The whatever profit that we would have taken is just going to come off of the price, so we can make it as reasonable as we can for you guys.
Yep. And you'll notice that just like Plumes, the own page follows the same methodology. No ads, no sponsors, no money coming into our pockets from doing this stuff. It's just stuff that we do fun. That if you guys like it, fucking sweet, enjoy. And we have fun with it.
The stuff that we do for fun that takes about as much time as a second job.
Oh, no. You're not wrong. It's absolutely fucking time consuming. It's the lady bitches at me all the time. Do you have to do the show every Monday? Do you have to plan on Sunday night? Do you have to do? Sorry. But
it's my
fun.
service to the community, baby.
It's fun to do, and you can't deny that it's fun to do. So, it's enjoyable.
Slob Dog, no, there's not a discount for sleeveless, although it probably should be because it's using less fabric.
Somebody really wants a Plumes vest top. We'll see if we can arrange that. 10-second review causes servers to crash, sells out in 3 minutes. Are we ready here, Mast?
Not quite. Need
Not
2 minutes.
yet.
He's
2 minutes?
Still,
All right,
Still
so there's
warming
one
stuff
other
up.
thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit that we can kind of talk about.
Yeah.
And that is, throughout the last couple days, I have found some interesting stuff. That being very affordable mechanical mods.
authentic mech mods.
Authentic, not made in China.
Shenzhen.
By the way, I just dropped some of that Thai mango sticky rice. It is weird, but good. I
Yep.
kind of like it.
The first
Growing on
one that I found was this, the Drift. This is a new one that's coming out. It's not out yet. But this guy is going to be, I guess, $99 for all 3 tubes in this nice little presentation case. Button, tubes, the works. So, it's an option. The
Yeah.
other one that I found through looking was the Mad Industries. This guy right here, the Colonial mod. Also, like $100.
Very patriotic.
Well, that's the Patriot cap and drip tip, but I'm pretty sure the mod itself is also $100. So there are options out there. I mean, if you want to buy clones, buy clones. If you want to buy authentics, buy authentics. But for those kind of in the middle that are looking for something that's authentic that you can actually buy at a much more reasonable price than some of the stuff going out, then you have stuff like this Colonial and this Drift that will be coming out. We did talk to the guy for Drift. He is eventually going to come on the show and talk about it. But I have to say, it's kind of exciting, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the people are making mech mods at, I guess, what you would call like budget prices, and that's I'm excited to see that. Like, that's going to be really nice to have. I think it's going to do a lot of good for vaping as a whole.
There's also the what is it? I'm looking for it right now because I forgot to do this before the show. But is it Diablo mods that's got let me pull this up here. I think it's Diablo mods. They have got an intro. I mean, there are guys that make like the Reaver and that kind of thing. I mean, they make some really nice mods, but I'm pretty sure they've got a $100 kind of a budgety mech mod as well. Yeah, the Diablo Reaver. It's 99 euro or 95 euros, right? So it's barely over $100. I actually briefly spoke to the guy on him a while back. He was in a thread. I didn't speak to him specifically, but he was in a thread too when we were kind of talking about this, where it's nice to have some affordable authentics that we can recommend to somebody that doesn't, that maybe they'll buy an authentic instead of a clone, and because it's still, and we've talked about this till it's blue in the face, but I don't mind something that's styled after something else. That's fine, but when you start putting the same logos and serial numbers and stuff, I mean it's weak. I don't like that. So having, like you said, having a viable alternative that's an authentic is kind of cool.
Agreed. And what's the other one? The other one's made by the guys who make Poldiac, right? We did find that one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Vapors, the guys that make the Poldiac make the Nanos. And while some people don't particularly care for the button action because it's a little wobbly, the locking mechanism is beautiful. It's really, really nice. And that's what did we find? That was like 85 euros, something like that. It's like $105.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So there's 4 options, which are really cool fucking options.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm excited to see what that's going to do in a more long-term kind of setup.
And they're beautiful too. And there's tons and tons of different options on stainless and polished and brushed and brass mixed in on the other different parts. And then they've got one that's like, 4 different pieces that all screw together. And I don't like that style as much myself. I like the single tube, but anyway, they're really cool. I dig them.
And somebody else just said check out the Simple SMPL mod as well as the Doomsday. So there's 2 more that you can check out.
Awesome.
So did the overhead I'm assuming a lot of these are made domestically.
They are, from what I understand, all the ones that we listed are made domestically, yes.
With the except the Diablo's somewhere in the Netherlands or something. It's somewhere in
Poldiac,
Europe.
I think, is in
And
Greece.
Poldiac is in Europe as well. They're in Europe.
So is the overhead gone down or something to make a mech mod? Like how are they able to make them so affordable?
I think I'm gonna keep pushing the guys making the drift, who it is made domestically, because I'm kind of really curious about that myself, and I'm really looking forward to asking them that question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, there's enough competition in the market, so and also the clones and stuff, right? Hopefully, it's going to drive some of the price down for authentics, which I think is a great movement. The old invisible hand of the market and all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could ask the same question about the billet box, right? The billet box is what, $186, and the billet box is beautifully machined, and mind you, it's billet aluminum, but it's beautifully machined, and it's a fairly complex design. So it's not terribly expensive for what it is. So it definitely seems possible. And aluminum probably does have a lot to do with that, but some of these I don't think are aluminum. So I look forward to kind of seeing some of this more in the future.
Ready when you are.
All right, tech time.
All right, so let's see, 10, 12. All right, let's try to roll through this. Okay, so this board, as you guys know, has 24 pins on it. Okay, so I'm going to try to simplify some of this. We're not going to actually show you how to solder a piece of wire to each and every pin. Okay, but I want to go over a little bit of the wire prep before starting. Now,
because you already did that, right? That's
yes.
If you hadn't seen that, roll back into the first few episodes. What was that, like episode 3 or 4 or something?
Yeah, actually earlier than that, maybe 2. I have the schematics, Sean. If you could pop that. Oh, and he walked away. All right. He's gonna Anksy's gonna put it up there. It'll be on the home page. It'll be added to what we talked about. So one of the things I want to start out with is your connectors. Okay, the Dean's connectors. They're called XT60s. They look like this. Are really nice connectors. Your LiPo battery is going to look like something like this. If you want a bigger one and you're putting this in a bigger box, you can obviously do that. Anksy, is this coming in correct? It's not upside down? Okay. And as you can see, this is a Trinity Nanotech 1300 mAh. This has got a 45 to 90 C discharge on this battery. It is a 3-cell. Okay, it's a 3-cell, 11.1 volt. We've gone over that. I wanted to make a suggestion right now that we're talking about the battery. A lot of us, okay, you're going to need a special charger for this. Okay, when you order this battery, you can get a charger. You can get a charger that looks like this. Okay, and this guy is one that I had from an old helicopter that I had, and it'll charge 7.4, so it's the small ones, and then it'll charge 11.1. Okay, now this charger's okay. As you can see, it'll do 2 and 3 cell, but this is like a $6-7 charger. Okay, it comes with a power adapter and everything. I suggest going with something a little bit better. If you already have a LiPo charger, then by all means use that. If you're thinking about getting one of these or getting a few batteries, I think the batteries will run like $10, $12. I suggest you guys pick up. This is an actual Trinity. This is the AccuCell 6. Let's get this guy to focus here. Okay, and if you're going to just have one battery, then I would say go for the lower end one. If you're going to have a few other batteries or want to charge and have other LiPos, this will charge LiPo, the LiFe ones, the nickel metal hydrate, the cadmium ones, and it'll also do lead acid. And it'll do anywhere from 1 to 6. So you guys can check this out. I'll put a link up. It does require a 12-volt source with at least 6 amps of power. Okay, so when you're looking, it does not come with a power adapter. Okay, but it's really nice because you basically can just sit there, plug this guy in, okay, and you can have it come on and it'll figure everything out, charge it all up for you. So keep an eye on that. I'll update it. But again, going back to the battery, let's go get this guy to zoom. Okay, going back to the battery, this is 14 gauge wire. It's super thick, and you're going to need, these connectors to do that. Don't try to solder into here. So have your connector. Okay, and now we're going to prep the wire real quick. I'm going to show you how to get some 14 gauge prepped for this. So here's our, let's get this guy situated here. Here's our 14 gauge wire, and I'll move it after we get it soldered. Okay, I've just stripped off just a little bit. I'm going to use some solder flux. because this is stranded wire, so we can get a really good flow of solder on there. And we'll solder up the positive one here. And this is going to take some heat and some solder because it is 14 gauge stranded. So don't be shy with that. So there's your finished product. We'll do the same with the negative. And the reason I'm covering this is because this 14 gauge is a little bit tougher to work with than your 20 gauge that we've used plenty of times, which we'll be using in this build also. And this 20 gauge will mainly be for your for your ground, your battery connections. So you can go ahead and get these soldered up here. And there you have it. The other ends you would go and hook them up to your connector, and these will be the leads coming in. So now that we got that done, we can move on to the board. And I have the schematic up on the screen. Now, the schematic, and I'll put a warning on there, it is set to overdrive the board. Okay, I have found out that overdriving the board over a long period of time will kill them. Okay, and I'm talking about, I sat and I was doing a temperature test on some 510s, and I ran the board at probably closer to 400 watts. Okay, it's a 300 watt rated board. I ran it closer to 400 watts for about a good 20-25 minutes straight, pretty much, trying to get a temperature reading on 510s that I was doing. So it is possible to kill these boards, okay? And they're at around $30 a piece. I wanted to stress test them at around $30 a piece. You're gonna want to make sure you stay at the I believe it's 5.5. I will go back and look at the data sheet, and that'll also be updated on the home page with the parts. So if somebody wants to throw up a link to the blog post or to the home page post that I put up, that'd be great. And the difference is going to be in your resistor difference. So you're going to still use a 200 ohm potentiometer, but the resistor that I'm using is a 220. That's all I had available. None of my local Radio Shacks had the other one, and I believe R Plush might have the correct resistance, and if not, like I said, as soon as we get off, I will update that on the home page so we have it. So you stay below the 6, I had it running at like 6.4 volts. You really want to stay below that. You want to do like around, I think that the max will hit 5.5 or close to 6 volts. So there you have it. You can override it. You can overclock it if you want. That way you have the ability to go to 6.4, but just keep that in mind that it will fry the boards. So we're gonna start off in. I like to work from this end over because this board has a total pinouts of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 voltage out pinouts. Okay, and those pins are you start with pin 1 over here, and as you can see, be careful with these guys because if you mess around with them too much, you will. Let me get this guy closer. All right. Stay. Okay. So be careful with the pins because they they will break off. So you start with pin 1 over here. Pin 2 is not actually on the board. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, you see P24 up here. That's your pin. So starting with this pin, that's going to be a positive voltage out, and then you cycle to a negative. Okay, so this will go ground. Then you have another positive. Okay, then you have a negative. Then you have another positive. You have a negative. Okay, then you have another positive. Okay, and these two, I believe, these two right here, the positive and negatives come all the way to here. So these are actually 2 of them together positive. So let's go ahead and solder the, and these are all voltage out. Okay, this whole area of the board is voltage out. So let's go ahead and put a positive. I used 20 gauge because I had, 6 20 gauge wires going to the 510. I never had an issue with any amperage issues, and it was fine. Okay, so because you have so many hookups now, I don't know if anybody's asking anything in chat, so I can't see that, but so we'll solder to this guy here. And what I ended up doing is these two are together. So I took just a bead of solder and I did these 2 pins together, okay, because they're both voltage outs right next to each other. So once you get that in place, you can always, like we do, grab your heat shrink and basically put you some heat shrink on there. And we've already gone through all this, so I'm trying to keep this time down, and I'll do something more in detail. Put heat shrink on, and I don't suggest using a torch because of all these components here. So I usually just like to take my gun, my soldering iron here. Let me clean it off, and I just like going over the heat shrink itself. Okay, and just heat shrinking it on there. That way you have direct heat to what you need. Okay, and you get the idea. We're just heat shrinking that on there. Okay, so starting with these guys, and again the pinouts. Pay attention to the pinouts on the picture that I've put up. And you can kind of guide yourself to. I had to go back and start counting, or count from 24 down, whatever. This pin kind of starts here in between this 1 and 2, and you can see that on the board. So you can start counting, and then from here on, it'll be a negative, a positive, a negative, a positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So you should always end up with positive. Okay, so we're not gonna again solder all those because it's gonna be alternating. So all the grounds go to one place, and I'm using 20 gauge for all of these guys. Okay, the next thing is going to be these guys right here. Okay, so you have, let's see, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. So pin 14, 13, and 12. Okay, these pins right here are all going to be together, and this is going to be your battery input, and one lead is going to go to your switch. So let's go ahead, and you're going to take your humongous 14 gauge wire here, and we're going to solder this sucker on. All right, and this is another reason why you need such a big box, because these wires are going to be coming out of there, and this guy's going to be tough, but you can get it just right, warm enough. Okay. Right in between the pins, that works really good. You get solder above and below. Okay, and now you're going to take your this obviously is going to go down to, let me move this guy up so you guys can see that. It's going to go down to the battery, and now the next wire that we're going to put in is going to be going to your switch. Okay, and that'll be right next to it. And all these guys right here can all go together. You could solder all 3 of them together, and I suggest we do that. So right now that I soldered that, actually I should have bridged it first. I'll show you how to drop a bridge in here. Usually this is something you don't want to do when you're soldering, is form a bridge, but that is what we want to do right here. Sometimes you can go under it. Of course, now it's going to be a pain in the butt. So, okay, there's your solder bridge, and then you can just come in and solder this guy to it. All right, like that. Okay, so you got those guys together, and you can bridge these before and then actually do the wires. It doesn't matter, but it would help if you had them together, so the input is all in one. So again, the skinny guy is going to go to your switch, and you can use. There's very little power going through that, so you can use a tack switch. You can use whatever. I had some auto P9 switches. So one end of this is going to go to your switch. Okay. So next pin down from that. So we would say it's pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. 10 and 11 are not used. Okay. So you don't solder anything to those. If you want, you could, obviously, again, on these guys, you could take some bigger heat shrink and do all 3 of them. Okay, so these 2 pins, nothing. You don't solder anything to them. You can cut them off if you want. You could put heat shrink over them. Do whatever you want. Just don't solder anything to them. If we go back and count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pin number 9. Okay, pin number 9, you're going to want to have a wire going from the other end of your switch to that pin. So you're going to have that to this, okay, and then from the other end of your switch, you're going to go into that, okay. And again, I don't have the actual spec sheet in front of me, so I believe that's part of the sense pin. Okay. The next thing that you want to solder off of this one, and we can actually do that right now, is also you're going to take a 1K ohm resistor, and let me grab my cutters here. We'll just show you this real quick. So you'll have your wire soldered to it, okay? But you also want to have a 1K ohm resistor soldered right next to it, not in line, but right next to it, okay? And that's going to go to ground. So we will solder this guy real quick on there for visual reference. And this is not a 1K ohm resistor because I don't have one of those right in front of me right now, but it's still a resistor, so we'll put him in line there. And you'll have your wire right there. You could basically heat shrink those 2 together, and the resistor, the other end of the resistor, is going to go to ground. Okay. All right. Next thing is going to be your ground. Okay, and this is both of these pins together. You can see I already have them bridged, and I suggest you use your 14 gauge. Okay, and bring that to ground. So this could be your 14 gauge going to your plug, and everything else should all feed into your plug, and bring some from the 510 and all that. So let's get this guy warmed up here and soldered in there. Okay, again, this is stranded. It's pretty thick wire. So, all right. The next pin that's here, you're not going to use. Okay, so there's nothing going to be on that one. That is pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pin number 6, don't use it. Nothing on that guy right there. All right. Next thing that we're going to do, pin number 5. Okay, you're going to use a 220 ohm resistor, and this is where your variable is going to be. Okay, so again, I don't suggest you overdrive the board because you will blow it. Okay, so stick with the specs. Angsty, I don't know if Freon's in chat, but I don't know if he mentioned which resistor value was the correct one, but okay. So like I said, I'll update you with the correct resistor value to do this. I wired it up this way because I wanted to test the board out. I wanted to test its limits, and I did. If you overdrive it, again, you're probably going to have an issue with it. So what you want to do is you want to solder, your correct resistor on here, and we're just going to go straight to it. Okay. And again, this is pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when I was first working on this board, it tripped me up because there's no pin coming out of here. Again, there should be a pin sticking out here and here. Unfortunately, it broke, but there's no pin. There's an open area there, but they still count as pin 2. Okay, so this is actually pin number 5. So you have your correct resistor, and one of those wires is going to go to your center port of your potentiometer. So there's my pot right there, okay? And you can either use one of these Vichy potentiometers. This is a 5-turn, so you can really dial in your voltage, or you can always, go back and stick with, let's see, stick with the, see, I don't have any in here. Stick with the other potentiometers that are used kind of like in the Mini and stuff like that, in the Duke, and you can have this guy. Okay, it's still a 200 ohm. Okay, and depending on how you want it, you could have voltage going up, going right, voltage going down, left. It'll matter which legs you're using. Okay, so you can either do one or the other. Okay, this one's already in a box, but if you want something this small, you can, no problem. This is just, this is about, just about a half a turn, and you're already all the way up and down. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. So one of the ends will go to this. Okay, the next pin over is not going to be used. So pin number 4, nothing on it. Okay. Pin number 3, now let me show you something because you might have to do this. I broke a pin off. All right, so this pin is broken. There's just a little piece there left, and it actually broke it down to the board. And what I had to do was I had to basically put a little nub of solder on the board and kind of build my own pin out. So what I'll do. 207? 272. Okay, so the correct ohm resistance for that, for this resistor right here is, what was it again, Nixie? 272. That's the correct resistance you want to use. Okay, and that'll keep you at the correct voltage. So as you can see, this is actually solder, this little blob here. So even if you break it off, okay, don't freak out. You can actually still solder right onto the board and solder here, and as you can see, we'll solder right on there. Okay, there's your negative. Okay, now I'm not going to sit here and yank on it, but it's on there. It's on the board. Okay, and you can actually just solder and then come up, and then you'll leave some solder there, and you'll be fine. Okay, and the last wire that is going to be plugged in is going to be the second wire that's going to hook up to your potentiometer. Okay, depending which way you want your potentiometer going, you always will go. You always go to the. As you can tell right here, I don't know if you can see that, but you'll have 3 pins, and depending on which way you want the pot to turn, you can actually change one of those. Okay, on a build like, for example, on a build like, for example, let's say the Duke. Okay, or a Mass Mods Mini, the center leg goes to ground. Okay, and that's kind of like what you're doing over here. You're going back into the board into a ground, and then depending on which leg you use, it will determine which way is up and down on the pot. Okay, so hook it up with some alligator clips.
Wait, so Mast. Wait,
yeah.
So Militancy is the random giveaway winner, and Voop Life.
He had to go.
Yeah.
He had to go enjoy some Voop Life, so
yeah.
Militancy, you win a 120 ml bottle.
We're almost done here. So then this last wire will go to your other end of your pot, and you could hook it up and set which direction you want the pot to go, and that's it. I mean, once you get all these guys populated, they can all go into one. I tried to make the diagram as easy as possible. The resistor values that are on there are, again, the ones that will overdrive the board if that's what you want. If not, we'll go with the correct ones, and like I said, I'll update that on the home page tonight. I don't know if any questions came up or not while I was doing that, but there we go.
Not too many. Thank you, Matt.
Okay, good.
Way to go.
Cat Dumpling said, I had an idea. How about putting the start and end times of TechTime in the YouTube show notes? That way it's easier to find for future reference. That is a fantastic idea, and if I ever get past how utterly fucking lazy I am with adding to those show notes.
No, I'll make sure. Yeah, I'll make sure to at least log in and do that.
But I am terribly, terribly lazy, which is why you don't see half the links. Because I just don't ever really log back in and post them. So we have a couple other winners to announce.
Yeah, custom flavor winners, yeah.
Custom flavor winners. We have the first winner for the custom flavors is the Samoa flavor.
Yeah.
And that goes to Russell Niels.
Nice.
Dude, that sounds freaking amazing.
I know, right?
I'm not even like, and you guys may know, I like fruits and mints and that kind of thing, that kind of juices more than anything, but the Samoa sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Emmy, I know that somebody commented about not having to rush to this part of the show. I'm planning on. I'm not necessarily going to double cover what we're covering on the show, but if there is time constraint, I'm planning on taking the video and having a in-depth video on the homepage. So it's just I'm a bit tight for time right now, but as soon as I can get going with that, if there's parts or something like that people really want me to go over again, I'll go ahead and do that and just make a video just directed.
Well, that's really kind of the wonderful thing that kind of spurned a lot of the on-page stuff. Other than that, we had a lot of other people who wanted to do stuff. It gives all of us the ability to expand past just this stuff, and it gives us all the ability to provide more content and additional content in more of our life. So, without further ado, winner number 2, we have a man by the name of Corey for a pineapple, mango, coconut, and cream called the Flying Hawaiian.
Flying Hawaiian.
Great.
Congratulations. What's funny is I knew who that was before when you just listed the flavor. I'm like, that was Corey.
And the last winner of the custom flavor contest is Moroccan Tea, a sweet gunpowder green tea with mint. And that is Robert Manley.
Awesome. So before anybody does anything else here in the chat, definitely hit us up with your contact information. Like send us an email or send us your email or something, so we've got that for the contest entries.
Somebody just asked about what I do with the pins that I don't use. On these boards, I left the pins just for spacing because I probably would cut them off. There's no need for them, and they you can get them out of the way. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But counting and making sure, I went back a few times. So I have to count the pins, so it helps if they're there. If you want and you have heat shrink small enough, you can go ahead and heat shrink it. But leaving the pins in there actually kind of keeps the wires from bending too far to the left or the right and moving the other pins. So it might be a good idea to leave them. So that'll be up to you guys. So.
On that note, thank you everybody, new and old, for tuning in. Since we lost the med to Voop, I don't think we really have a witty exit.
No, we'll just do on that bombshell.
All right, peace.
Later.